Hello, good evening. Today I will do the learning by saying session. The sharing for today is the book called Deep Work by Cal Newport. And yes, so I will share this in three ways. First is what it is about. Second is why is it so, and third is how we can do it. The most important part is how can we apply. But briefly, what is this book about? It is about the ability to deep work is actually the ability to stay intensely focused doing work that requires thinking or active engagement. So in contrary, it's shallow work. Shallow work is like logistical in nature, routine based, and don't add much value. Yeah. Deep work is an example of deep work is like to write a book. It's a deep work. When you are in a deep work, doing deep work, you feel like you are in a flow. Yeah, so that is yeah. Okay, so why deep work is important? First, because it's valuable. Because nowadays the machines, right? We are more the workforce are more at risk with new advanced machines and robots, and work is increasingly irrelevant. People find irrelevant with the machine is cheaper and can do better work. And in the new modern era, so who will try is those who are good at first either working with the machine or the superstar in any field. So these two people will thrive. And it needs two skills. One is the master the hard things, and the second skill is to produce at the elite level, both in the quality and the speed. It means that can do excellent work with quality and fast enough. And these two skills, like learn the thing fast and do the quality work, is the core skill of deep work. And next is learning, and what's the relationship between learning and deep work. Actually, intense focus and in learning, there's a term called deliberate practice. It's when you practice productively or deliberately, it will strengthen the neural connection in the brain. And when we are not in the deep work, it means we have a lot of distraction. Then the distraction, because in the brain, the distraction also create the connection. So if without the distraction, the connection is established very strong, and it makes the information and the speed of information, the connection is very fast. Yeah. So with the distraction, the connection that we want to work on or to establish in the brain, the neural connection is not as strong. Yeah. And another reason is that when we try to let's call residual rule. It means when we switch work from one activity to another activities, that's the residuals. We do not start immediately with the new, like fresh, with a new task, but we still have the residual things in our mind from the previous task. Yeah. So that's why it's very hard. I mean, productivity is not no. Multitasking is not good, because multitasking is you switch back and forth with many tasks, so it is not good. It's not good. It's destructive. Yeah. And another, the second thing. So the first thing is valuable. The second thing why deep work is because it's very rare. Because nowadays there are three trends that discourage deep work, which is first is open office. Second is instant messaging. We are constantly requiring people, or people require us to reply immediately. And thirdly, very important, social media demand attention, and this one make it very very hard for deep work. Uh, Deep work. And fourth reason is that because when we are engaged in deep work, we will find it very meaningful. When we do the activities, we enjoy it the same way as a craftsman or an artist drawing a picture or making something craftsman. They drawing the meaningful meanings in the activity itself. So it's the same thing for deep work, which is a knowledge, like knowledge worker, this is called. Okay, so the important part I will share the next is about what are the strategies we can enhance the deep work's capability. So there are 4 rules. Rule number 1 is work deeply. First, you need to choose one philosophy. So there are a few philosophy, like let me show you. There are 5 philosophies. The first one is monastic approach. It means you cut ourselves totally from everything, all like all the no email, no internet, no obligation, no shallow obligation. This one is ideal for those like novelists or artists who work on a individual base, like writing a book, writing a novel. Cut. Okay. Second approach is bimodal approach, which is for example, in some periods of the year or months or week allocated for deep work. Maybe some people like, let's say, using the last week of the year in December, like this time, to do the planning and reassess and planning for next year. So it's a deep work. Yeah, so it's a specific allocation. This one is good for people who cannot cut themselves completely. Yeah, for example, like academics or working professional. The fourth, the third approach is called rhythmic approach, which is find a fixed time of deep work throughout the day. For example, like get up early morning, 5 to 7 a.m. for the deep work, or during the week, maybe one specific day or one specific afternoon or morning every week, the same for deep work. Yeah, so this one is good for a working professional, fitness enthusiasts, writers. Yeah, and the fourth approach is called journalistic approach, which means that take the time out whenever you can find a free slot. You can choose to do this on a moment-to-moment basis, like or plan in a week in advance. So for me, I think I like the approach number 3, which is the rhythmic approach, whereby I get up early, then maybe from 4 or 5 a.m. until 7 a.m. we do my work. Yeah. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover, so that is first you choose one out of the 4 philosophies. Then the next is rituals. Few tips like choose a specific place, so that for example, like I like to go McDonald's. I also next thing maybe I can choose to go to the we have in the park nearby my place. In the morning, very quiet, like a barbecue table. I think you can go and work there as well. Bring the laptop. Yeah, and also another thing is buy a specific time and schedule it in advance. For that is because when we have a schedule, there will be less willpower. No need willpower because it's already scheduled. Otherwise, if it's spontaneous, then we need to have a lot of willpower, right? And also how we work when we start, for example, no internet, and also there's some people have a grand gestures, like check in the hotel, like just check in the hotel and do like writing or deep work, like change the environment. Yeah, and another one is important that is sharing is for 4DX principles from the book of 4 disciplines of execution. This one is used in the corporate world. So let me try to share this first. So the first one is called widely important goals. So focus only on a few small but very important goals. Second is act on the lead measures. Lead versus lag measures. Lead measure is like the one that and if when we can see it, then we can change. But lag measure is the ultimate outcome. So example of lead measure is like the time spent on the project. But lag measure is the ultimate outcome we want. For example, the quality of the work. But when we track the lag measure, no time for other things. Yeah, is compelling scoreboard have a scoreboard to track the lead measures, and the last one is accountability. So few other tips is that plan for downtime. Downtime is very important, and capacity to do the deep work is only 4 hours a day, and have a shutdown ritual at the end of the day, 15 to 30 minutes. Review and stop. Review and think of if it's incomplete, then next day we'll do. By doing this shutdown ritual, the brain will stop because it's signal to the brain. And evening downtime is very important. No email, no work, and so on. Yeah. So this is rule number 1. So due to constraint of time, I will share other rule maybe the next time. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Zeng. So just now you mentioned about deep work. Maybe we can discuss a bit on this deep work. So just now we were mentioning that there are a few rituals that we can follow. Is it philosophy or ritual? There's 5 philosophy, right?
Oh, okay, 4 philosophies.
Oh, it's 4 philosophy.
Yes.
So you were
mentioning. Yeah.
So you were mentioning about this deep work, and then the benefit of having a deep work is because recently there's a lot of distraction, and there's not much time for people to really go into deep thoughts, deep work kind of stuff, because they are being distracted, right? And and at the same time, right, that means now we are bringing back a way to go back to like last time where you do not have so much distraction. And how we're going to do it is that since there's so much distraction around, and you suggested that we should spend about 4 hours a day, maximum to the 4 hours a day to do the deep work. And how we do it is that we ritually.
Okay, Jonathan.
Yes.
The before you continue, the 4 hours is the capacity. It means if we can only have a deep work 4 hours maximum. More than that, the brain won't work. It won't work so well.
Okay.
Yeah. So even if you work maybe 6 hours, maybe the 2 hours won't be that productive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So maximum a deep work will have a maximum of 4 hours per day, and then every time when we finish the deep work, we'll just have to warm down. Like an exercise, you warm up and then we warm down. So we have to warm down exercise for about 15 to 30 minutes to reflect on what we have just done, and then to let the mind shut off the work. And then you were saying that there are a few kinds of ways to do the deep work. One is to, like for your case, you choose the morning. There's other three more choices, right? Can you?
Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is part of the 4 philosophies.
Yeah, part of the 4 philosophies.
Okay. So the first. Yes.
Maybe you can.
Yes. So the first one is called monastic approach.
Cut off everything, which is not possible.
Everything.
Unless you go to the mountain.
Yes. Yeah. So those people who are using this is the writer, novelist. They are very individual based.
Yes.
Or the individual professional that don't need to maybe interact, or not so important to interact, so they need a lot of time, or maybe programmer. Yes.
Second.
Okay. Second approach is called bimodal approach, which is during the whole year, or whole month, or whole week.
Yeah.
Then you allocate specific time, some periods of the year.
Okay.
For the deep work.
Okay. Third one.
The third one is rhythmic, the one I mentioned. The rhythmic is the one during one day, within one day.
Oh.
What is the specific time for deep work? Yeah.
Fourth one.
Fourth one is journalistic. Journalistic is like you have the journal, right? So journalistic is whenever you see you have time, then you do the deep work. Whenever.
The one is not as efficient, right? I think, but you still have some time at least to do some of the deep work.
And this one is the according to the book, they say that the author is also do this method, but he can also plan in advance. Okay. By the way, this one is I'm reading the summary of the book. I haven't read the book, but I think this summary, like 13 pages, I think is quite good. At least, anyway, the philosophy, I agree. So this guy, he summarized the action. So I just take the action and write. Because yesterday, just someone shared on social media about this book. Then I find it's very good. I searched the summary.
Okay. So so the thing is that what kind of things requires deep work? Maybe you would like to share. How about business?
Anything. Okay. So the shallow work is the one that, as I mentioned, the shallow work is the one that like routines doesn't add much value. Like okay, so because in a business, right? Maybe you have strategic planning is deep work. Or for example, if I because I'm doing sales, so I need to do, even in the sales, of course, if I do strategic planning, and I think ahead, maybe I reflect which market I should target and why. Okay, let's say without deep work, I will just blindly, for me is I do call, right, cold call. So I just blindly, like see the database, or just anyhow, just call, just speak. But you know the rule 80-20, right? Yeah. So but if a person use 20-30, it means he will analyze, or at least he see maybe which is the 20% of, maybe let's say, market that can give me 80% of outcome, or the most likely. So I do the planning. So even actually in the execution phase, when I do sales, like let's say I do research, I need to find leads, I need to get leads, I also need to have deep work. It means focus. So deep work is the definition. Deep work is intensely focused, and like you feel you are lost of time, and you are so into the work. So actually, for everything you do is supposed to be deep work. The more, the better.
But in every details of the things that we do, right? You can actually go into a focus mood.
That's definitely okay. For example, okay, this one actually also I think is same from. I think this guy might be inspired by the Zen, mindfulness. Yeah, mindfulness is actually talking about how you do something intensely. For example, if you let's say chop the carrot, or you chop the vegetable, you only chop it. You don't think of something else. It's not like you listen to music and you chop. You chop with passion. You chop with intensity. That is the idea.
So
that's why the.
So one day we
any activity.
We should only spend about 4 hours on this deep work.
Yeah.
That means even if we want to practice chopping carrot, right, we should also only focus 4 hours on chopping it perfectly.
Yeah. If in case you are the chef, let's say if you are the chef or the one you like cooking, then chopping carrot is a meaningful work, and you enjoy the activity itself. Yeah. So when chopping carrot, don't try to maybe listen to music or something else. Or if you listen to music, just listen to music to enjoy the music. So not using the music as a fueler of maybe boredom or something. Yeah. So the idea is one activity at a time. Doing anything one activity at a time.
For 4 hours without distraction. That is a keyword. 4 hours without distraction, and with a cool down, with a warm down process later on.
Yeah.
To reflect on what I have just done, whether is it correct, where can I improve, and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the reason for doing that, because if we don't do that, the mind, let's say you want to shut down in the evening, but the mind still think of the problem because it's still open loop. But when we already reflect, then if it's undone, then we already have let's say the plan for next day. So the mind already know, okay, in the evening.
In other words, when I'm doing the reviewing, right, the coming down process, right, and then I do another 4 hours of coming down because my mind just cannot stop. So should I just put like 30 minutes? I'm suggesting a way, right? Should I just do like a 30 minutes? By the end of the 25 minutes, I should have a plan for tomorrow, even if I can't finish today, to carry on what to do. So today, shut off, finish.
Yes,
so it's tomorrow's job.
Yes.
So
Yes,
at the end of the last 5 minutes on the coming down, right, on the reflecting, I should have a plan already up for tomorrow. So it inclusive
yes.
of reflecting on what I've done just now. At the same time,
Yeah.
inclusive of a plan of what I have to do to continue tomorrow. On if I'm taking on the I think the rhythmic, right? Then I should be thinking of
Yeah.
tomorrow, the same time, same place. How should I carry on thinking? So it will be a loop process until the deep work I'm
Yeah.
satisfied. Maybe like 1 month later, then should I be satisfied, or should I carry on and doing this thing until?
But yeah. I mean, you know it, right? You know it. You know when you reach a milestone and so on, right?
So I must have a
Yeah.
goal
But
first.
but the idea of this shutdown is to let the brain stop working, because you were already decide to shut down. So the brain won't think anymore.
Because sometimes
It's like you have an agreement. Yeah.
sometimes it's like when the shutting down is actually the process of beginning of thinking more. if you know what I'm talking about, just now I should have done that, or you're doing a deep work understanding, right? Then you start to think. You can't stop. It's like an addiction. A lot of time.
Yeah. So maybe okay, because in the shutdown, they said first is review. Second thing is, if any incomplete task, you can do that as well in the shutdown if it's fast. But if the incomplete task is too big, you cannot finish. So maybe at least you make a plan how it can be done maybe tomorrow. At the end, you shut down because you already have a plan to tackle it.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the reason is because in our brain we have a conscious and subconscious.
Yeah.
So when you do that, we signal it to the end.
So I think you have a second episode to come out, right? After you find out more. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So
in that case,
the next sharing will be for the rules 3 and 4 and rule 2 to 4. This one is only rule number 1.
Oh, okay. Okay. So thank you, Zeng, for your sharing today.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
And thank you for those who are watching. Hope you enjoy. And please like the page. Yeah. Have a good day. Bye.